really loud music. Welcome to 2022. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I really hope it's a good year. Hi, Amanda. How are you? It's been a minute since I've been on. Hello, Bobby and Rachel. How are you guys? Yeah, so I'm not sure how my sound is coming through. I had a little bit of trouble with my audio mixer. I can hear me, but it sounds like I could hear some background noise too. Hopefully it's not sounding so bad. I don't know if it's my microphone or what. I have another one that's more expensive, but I thought, nah, I'm just going to use this one. Thank you, Amanda. I'm actually, hi, Rachel. Happy New Year. And tell Bobby I said Happy New Year. Yeah, so this year went out with a bang. I'm going to tell you. My wife went down. She had vertigo and I mean, flat on her back, couldn't open her eyes for 4 days. And at the same time, I was ill and I was having to take care of her. And then we got over that. And then Christmas Eve hit and I got a flat tire about 8:30 at night. And I should have just called. I have what do you call it? Where I pay for it, roadside assistant. And I should have just called him. But instead, I got a spare and I jacked the car up a little bit so I could get under it because of the flat tire. And I got the spare down and the spare was flat. So I thought, well, it looked like brand new tires. So even though I haven't seen it in 15 years, so I ran it over. I was at a gas station. I ran it over to the air pump and started putting air in it. And I realized it was leaking out the little thing that you put the air in. And I moved it a little bit and it fell off. So it wasn't going to hold air. So I had 2 flat tires. So the next morning was Christmas morning, no tire shops open. Well, I called the tow guy. He towed me home. Everything was cool. And then my doctor, his phone system went out. And for 3 days, I worked on his phone system. I finally got it going. Hey, 1B Tech, Happy New Year. So I was so glad to see this year go out. I mean, I finished this phone on New Year's, the day before New Year's Eve. And it seemed like one thing after the other, in this last couple of weeks. I mean, it just was ramping up. And I was celebrating when this year went out. I was so happy. Really happy. But only I'm looking forward to this year. I got a lot of plans. I want to go squatching a whole lot more than I did this last year. One of the other things that happened was New Year's Eve, the water pump on my van went out. So it was flat tires, all this stuff, water pump. Water pump's under warranty, though. The repair shop has to fix it. It went out. I had the timing belt and water pump changed like a year and a half ago, and it went out. But when I took it back in there and told them, hey, man, the water pump went out, I missed the warranty by 1 day. So I had to pay for it again. But this time it's only been like 4 months, and I think he warranted it for a year. So they're going to change it for free this time. Otherwise, me and this little dude's going to go around and around. He's going to fix the water pump so I could go squatching. And that sucked. But I'll probably take that in the morning, early in the morning, and have him fix it. Because boy, what a pain, huh? But I'm looking forward to this year. I've been doing a lot of thinking about Bigfoot and the last decade. I've actually been working on a video of the last probably 12 years, but I'm going to call it the last decade of all the things that we did in the last 10 years, like opening for Art Bell for a few years there, having on live stream, having, I think it was like 270 or 720,000 followers. And then when we went opening for Art Bell, we were the number one trending show on whatever they were sharing it on. It was a huge thing. I can't remember what it was. I think it was iHeart or something like that. We were the number one trending show right under Art Bell. So it was, amazing decade. Saw Bigfoot 3 times in the decade. And I don't know how, I can't even count how many encounters. And I was thinking about, like, a couple of years ago or 3 years ago, I finally got one of my sons and his friend or two friends to come up. They brought their fifth wheel, but they parked about 2.5 miles from us. And I figured that, they came and sat and camped with us, but nothing happened. And then they left and went back to their trailer. And then right after they left, maybe 30 minutes, then Bigfoot showed up. The Squatches showed up and started throwing rocks at the tent. And we had a really eventful squatching evening with the Bigfoot. They were doing the owl calls and going around and around the camp. And after we went to bed, they were right close, stepping on the tarp and stuff. Hey Adolf, how are you? Happy New Year. So I'm looking forward to getting out there. And then this year we have a ton of snow. It should be a pretty good year as far as water goes. I don't know what's going to happen with all the fires that we had. It burned every single Bigfoot Sasquatch area that we go to camping wise. So I don't think it didn't rain enough for the ground cover to grow back really good. So all this snow melt and everything, I don't know what it's going to do. I know the reservoirs and the rivers are going to be full, but I have no idea what it's going to do to the mountains. And then I've been tripping on Colorado. They had 2 big old giant 100-mile-an-hour windstorms, and then this time there was a fire and it burned like 1,000 homes. And I think it's a Dabu 77 or something like that. He has a video up where it shows a beam right before the fire shooting from the west, from like California over into Colorado. And it burned houses. It reminded me of Paradise, the city of Paradise in California. When that burned, it looked just like it. Wow, Mount Shasta, huh? I bet it's snowy over there too. Wow. Be careful driving. I heard there's going to be a storm up north. I don't know how far south it's going to go, but I know Washington and Oregon and southern Canada, they're going to get ripped with snow, rain. I'm not sure. Hey Joe, how are you, brother? Yeah, so tonight I wanted to talk about there's a couple of things that when I was editing this decade video, it'll probably take me a whole another week to finish, but because I want to make it good. I don't want to be looking half-ass on it. So, but there was a couple of things that happened in the decade that I thought, for the start of the new year, I think this is going to be an important thing going in to the new year and the years beyond this coming 2022, and that is mind speak. Like, I had an episode of mind speak with them, and I haven't really tried the mind speak. Now, I was mind speaking from here, my house, with supposedly with the Bigfoots where we were going the next day. And it didn't turn out well because my aunt was pushing that I give them permission to go in my house because she wanted me to ask permission. And I didn't even think anything was going to happen, but she wanted me to ask permission for me to go in their house. Well, they were okay. They're like, yeah, you can come to our house if we could go in your house. And I was like, no, you can't go in my house because I'm not really going in your house. I'm going in the forest. I'm going in where we all share the forest, but I'm not going in where you live. I'm not going right in where you sleep and live. I'm going in the forest. You come visit us in our camp. I come visit you in the forest, and you guys meet me halfway in the camp, but no on the coming in my house. And that ended the mind speak. Although I did think about it a lot. Every time we went squatching, I thought about mind speaking with them, but I also thought that they could read your thoughts and your intentions. So maybe I was mind speaking with them and they were hearing what I was saying, but they weren't answering. And I really wasn't asking any questions either. I was just thinking things, like, I wonder where they're at. Are they going to come in? Things like that. And I was kind of intentionally pushing those thoughts out there. And I never heard anything back as far as coming in my mind, but only they did come and visit. So, and it didn't matter where we were. See, and that plays right with the tagging thing. So once you see a Bigfoot, I don't know why it seems like it. Mr. Lurks a lot. Happy New Year. How are you guys? Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah, I hope it's a really good. I know it's going to be a good squatching year. I just don't know if the powers that be are going to be nice to us, and knock it all off. I was telling my wife just a little while ago, a couple hours ago, telling her, you got to clear out of here because I'm going to go live, and I like doing live instead of recording stuff. It's because I can hang out with you guys and interact with you guys. You guys are my family, and I mean, I get to interact with Adolf. He's like one of my best friends, but so are you guys. You guys are my best friends online, and one day I hope to meet you all. I don't know if it'll happen, but hey, you never know what might happen. I mean, that, like what I was telling my wife, all that we're experiencing right now, the gas prices, the food prices, the that thing, and everything else, right? It's created It's created. They're doing it to us. And I'm wondering how long. I mean, Americans, okay, we're supposed to be like freedom fighters and stand up for freedom and lead the world and be the free country and all that stuff. And they're marching in other countries way more than we are. I mean, they had it. They had it with their governments. I mean, France has been marching every single day. They marched on New Year's, they marched on Christmas, and hundreds of thousands, they're saying like no more. And, Australia, Germany, all of them, they're marching like crazy. And here we are, like, yeah, we got like our finger up our butt or something. We think it might get better. Like maybe they'll change their mind. I don't know. I don't think they will. I think that we're going to have to put our foot down and really lead the world and show them how to be free, because we're not free no more, man. When I hit the gas pumps, I'm wondering, why are they doing that to us? They suck. But yeah, like, oh yeah, there you go, Adolf. That's true. A lot of times I get a feeling to go somewhere because I may see something or find something. It's a feeling I get. And I've been with you on some of those, and there's always something when you say let's go, and it's go because of something like that. Something always turns up, and I know I'm going to try the mind speak thing a lot more this coming year. I'm going to start asking questions. I'm going to try to find out more information about them and see what happens. Come visit your son, man. I'll drive you. I want to go see my son, or there's two of them over there, really, and some grandkids and stuff. I want to go over there and visit. I have one little grandson I haven't met over there, Jackson, and I can't wait to meet him. He looks like a tough little dude. But if I get over there, I will look you up for sure. About not being to church. Yeah, well, I want to go out there. I want to hit the Kings River some more with you, Adolf, and maybe you and Ken, and me and you and Ken. I mean, that sounds like fun, man. I would have went with you guys this past couple of weeks. Only this past like month has been, what a month, you know. And I know why. I have a feeling, that like not a lot of people might not agree with me, but I'm working on a website as well as doing this one, and it's called Worldwide Prayer and Worldwide Prayer Team. And I'm trying to put together a prayer team worldwide, because we need to start praying for the world. We need to start praying for the world. And it seems ever since I started that website, one thing after the other just it's crazy. I mean, really crazy. And now, as far as I don't know, Vom Red, I can't even say your name, bro, but Happy New Year, man. But as far as like not going to church, I'm sitting in the dark on it for a reason. It's a Happy New Year, and I wanted to set the ambiance and make it kind of like sitting in the dark with my little moon showing right there. I had, and now back to the church thing. I had a falling out with people. I in the 80s, I worked for uh, a national big giant church, and I'm not going to name it. And I traveled around the world with them, and I wasn't close to God. I barely found God. I got arrested for 30 counts of attempted manslaughter with a vehicle. And it was the last time I really wanted to go to jail, but I couldn't stop drinking. And it was something I'd been praying about with God. I can't stop. He has to take it away from me. If he's real, take it away. So he did. And I had $500,000 of TV equipment. I had a complete TV studio, lights, cameras, action. I mean, the whole thing. Just like if you walked into any TV station, or what you see on TV. I know you guys don't know what they are, but they're Plumicon cameras, huge, big, $150,000 a piece cameras, studio cameras, master control room, master audio, several editing bays, several electronic news gathering cameras, kind of like what I use now, but only mine are like miniature compared. These kind, like you see them on TV where they carry it on their shoulder, and that's what I went with. And but I had a falling out with these guys, and when I first met them, see, I was a baby believer in Jesus, and the only reason I believed in him is because he actually really took away the drugs and the alcohol. I mean, I didn't want it ever again. And so I challenged him, if you're real, take it away from me. And I hadn't done any since. I mean, that was April 26, 1986. I saw Bigfoot in 1987. And I don't know what the correlation there is, but it seemed like a lot of stuff happened right there. So I tried to keep going to church, only they turned against me on, I had more faith for things. And I prayed for this, one of my teachers, like I was older now, I'm in my mid-20s, but one of my teachers in 7th grade, her husband worked with my dad in the sheriff's department. Well, she went blind, and she'd been blind for 7 years. Her tear ducts dried up. And one day, we were in church. She went to the same church as us. She'd been blind for 7 years. And then God told me to go ask her if she believed that God still healed people. And I started arguing with God. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go ask her that. Like, I have a lot of faith, but that's really making me stretch out there, and maybe be embarrassing, But only I went and did it anyways, because he wouldn't leave me alone. I mean, it kept coming in my mind to go do that. And he was making me uncomfortable. And so I did it. And her eyes grew back in her head, and a whole bunch of us that saw it, watched her eyes grow back in her eye socket. She had no eyeballs in there. They dried up like raisins and went away. And then we watched them grow back. And then several bones being healed. Richard Keel's daughter, I was his cameraman, private cameraman for a little while, following him around, and his friend. And she was a Little Miss America, but she also was a champion gymnast, a teen gymnast. And in the middle of a competition, she broke her wrist, and we went to the hospital. We dropped everything and took her to the hospital. And then Richard said, pray for her like you did Alice, the one that had the blind eyes. So I did, and her wrist healed, and she finished the competition, and she won. And this is just many things. I mean, there was a lot of stuff, okay? Healings, miracles. And they had a problem with that because with me, because I didn't go to college or their church Bible school stuff, and I'm not ordained or anything like that. So, everybody puts their pants on the same way, right? Everybody. There's nobody that's, even the president, they're no better than you or me. Even a guy with 15 degrees, it just means that he went to school and put in the time and got the degrees, but there's no difference between all of us. We're all the same, and nobody's better than anyone, and they shouldn't even think they are. And I don't think I am at all. Like, so that was my falling out. And then I found out that I realized that I could go home and I could read the Bible and I could spend an hour a day or so, maybe more, maybe less on some things. And I could be just as close to God in church as I was out of church. And a lot of times I pray when I'm in the car driving somewhere, and you have 20, 30 minutes, that's when I'll be doing my praying. And mostly it's just thanking him for all the blessings that he gives me. I mean, I'm totally blessed. And even when you don't think you're blessed, you're blessed. There's things that happen all the time that you can thank him for. I mean, just being able to wake up today and take a deep breath and walk around amongst everyone on the green side is a blessing. So count your blessings and ask him for anything and believe that you receive it, and you will receive it. Might not be in your timing, but everything in his timing. And if it doesn't happen, you can even ask him why, and he'll let you know. It might have been that you doubted in the middle of it. You prayed a big prayer and you believed for it for that minute, but then later on you started doubting yourself, and you let it go. So it's all on us on that stuff. You'd like to witness a miracle like that? I pray for people, but I've never been able. Just believe for it. You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed. I believe we could even raise the dead. And I have a story with that too, with my own dad. And I mean, this isn't what came on here to talk about, but only I think it's really important in this time that we're living in right now. We're getting ready to learn the truth. Okay. They talk about being woke or whatever. We're getting ready to see uh the veil drop. What's behind the curtain, like on the Wizard of Oz, and they rip the curtain back and you find out it's just some dude back there with a microphone, and some switches and levers, making all kinds of noise and stuff like that. Well, we're gonna start seeing all the things that's going on in the atmosphere, and I think a lot of it. I think we're gonna find out Bigfoot's role in the whole thing too. There's a role there for that one, and I'm not sure exactly what their role is, if it's good or bad. Um, I'm tore on that one. Like, I know. Hi, howdy, happy New Year. I know I got this. Um, I'm tore on the Bigfoot thing. Like, the alien thing. I figured out the aliens about, I don't know, 7 years ago. I realized they're demons. Absolute, straight up. They're demons. Especially the ones that can disappear and reappear and all this stuff. But there could be angels too flying those ships. I mean, there could be good ones. The hard part in all of this is discernment. So like when you're praying and asking for things, that's one of the things that you want to ask for is discernment. You want to know, you want to be able to tell what it is you're dealing with. Is it good? Is it bad? I'm always praying for that all the time. Um, Another thing that I think is really important for this day and age, and I mean, even more so like right now, especially as the veil gets thin and these entities are able to cross into where we live, in our realm, out of their realm and into this realm. We're going to see the veil rip to pieces, and we're going to be able to see them, and they're going to be able to see us, even though they can already see us. But a lot of things that people play with paranormally they're going to be shocked at what they really are playing with. I mean, they're playing with fire and they don't even know it. Some of the UFO people and maybe even the Bigfoot people, I don't know. All I know is this year, I would say this year, this new year coming up, and I would say this month, there's going to be more truth come out this month than we ever learned in the last 50 years, if you've been alive 50 years. For me, 50 years. Like 50 years ago, I was 13. So I really didn't give a hoot what was going down. I was more into teenage, girls and stuff like that at that point. But over the last 50 years, a lot of stuff has happened to me. I've been all around the world. I've experienced many things. I've seen miracles. I've seen creatures flying, and I'm glad Rick was with me, because nobody would have believed me and probably still don't, even with both of us saying that, what flew over us, over the city. It was like a Mothman, Bigfoot, giant thing, flying, dragon wings. I mean, it was really a trip. But we're going to see, this all is going to be revealed this year. It can't go much longer. I'm going to tell you that, because the people can't take any more, and God knows it. People are marching all around the world. Why we're not yet, I don't know, but they are in the other world. I mean, go to Rumble and type in "and we know" and watch some of those videos. And we know, that's the name of it. Go to Rumble and watch "and we know," and there already a lot of truth is coming out already, but we're going to see it just bust wide open here this year. Yeah, aliens are for sure demons. Now Bigfoot, I you know, I try to stay up on all the people that are involved with Bigfoot and do the YouTube thing. Like I watch Steve Isdall, How to Hunt. Every time he has a video come out, I I believe some of the stories might be BS, right? But not all of them. There is some real serious information that we can glean from, and it's probably easier for me to know if they're telling the truth or not. See, there's your discernment thing again. Like, are they lying? Are they not lying? Um, it's probably easier for me to on the Bigfoot thing and aliens and stuff like that, because I've been involved with it and the paranormal. Like, yeah, Jeff and I have done a lot of stuff on aliens and hauntings and possessions and Bigfoot and all this stuff. So when I hear stories, it's easier for me to figure out if it's close to the truth, and then there's some I don't know. It's new to me. But as you hear more stories, and and you think on your own experiences, you start, like what Steve Isdall calls putting your puzzle pieces together, right? It's the puzzle pieces are coming together. Okay, especially for me. I mean, I'm even thinking about writing Steve Isdall with some of my Bigfoot sightings and experiences, not just sightings, but encounters. And because I've had a ton of encounters, a ton, the rocks clacking and the rocks being thrown at us. I've seen him like 5 times in different places. I've seen him I've tracked them and for say 2 miles, and then the tracks end. Okay, they just disappear, like they just flew away or something, or disappeared. I mean, there was no tracks. They were nice and solid and perfect, and I was right behind them, and then all of a sudden, no tracks. And I circled around, and I used everything I learned on tracking, and I could not pick up a track. It was above the tree line. There wasn't anything for them to go hide on or climb. They couldn't jump from this to this to that. It was just their tracks stopped. And that's happened to me so many times. I found with Adolf, we found little baby tracks. And so I'm on the fence with them. They seem like they've been here for a long time, and maybe maybe they are Nephilim or something like that. And I do know they'll tell you things what you want to hear. I think Matthew Johnson's like that. Like they gave him a position, right? He's and I know a lot of people's going to get mad at me, but I don't think bad of Matthew Johnson. I know he's a believer in Christ, and a brother, but it's easy when they start messing with your ego. They tell you, they're going to talk through you, like channeling, kind of like to everyone else. And then they do things with his friends and the people that are close to him, and they have like a relationship and stuff like that. But then, in order to gain your trust, they'll tell you anything. So will demons. That's how they get in your house. They come, they find something that you allow, and they attach themselves to that, and then they're in until you figure out what it is and how to get. Then you can get them out in 2 seconds. You can get them out. But sometimes you don't even know they're there, and maybe you might even be inviting them, like ghosts, like somebody will die, your grandma, and she wears a certain perfume and it has a certain feeling, right? And after she dies, a couple days later, you smell the perfume and you're like, oh, grandma came to visit me, and she visits more often, and you feel her presence and you allow it, but it ain't your grandma. Okay, when you die, you're too busy doing what you're doing. Okay, where you're at, you already know when you're okay. I died. Okay, and I know what I'm talking about. When you get over there and you think of your family, you can see them, and you can see where they're at, and you also know the way time is there, that they're going to be with you pretty soon, and you get to greet them. But you're also getting to explore something you never dreamed of. It's so cool. I mean, you're not going to be worried about your family. Even if they get in a car accident, it just means they'll be there with you sooner, right? Like the things on the earth don't make it, isn't nothing. I mean, you're either here or there. And when you're over there, you're not worried about what anyone's doing over here, because sooner or later they'll be over there with you. So that whatever it is that wants to get in your house, and you'll start realizing grandma came around, but then without you realizing it, you won't put it together, but all of a sudden you're having contention with your kids and relatives, and you start having problems at work, and health problems, all kinds of stuff starts coming along, and you don't associate that to that. And we all should, you know, we all should. And we all should not let any old relative come back, because you got to realize these things, they attach to families, and they go from generation to generation to generation, and they might hang with 5 generations or 10 generations of your family and mess with them the whole time. They know everything about your ancestors, even, your grandpa, your uncles. They'll be able to replicate anything to make you believe that's them, because they were probably messing with them all their whole life too. So they know everything about them, and they'll know what pushes your button to allow them in, and you don't want to ever allow them in. And I'm not saying that they don't come and visit every maybe once in a while, but usually it'll be in a dream where they'll come and visit, not physically be there, because they don't have to know what you're doing. They don't got to be there. They don't. And if anything helps you or saves you, it's usually an angel or something, not them. They're busy. They're over there learning their new environment, their new, where you're going to live forever and ever and ever. You know what I'm saying? I believe the Bigfoots are Nephilim. Yeah. And I can't, now, what's scary about that? When this whole thing breaks, there's a place in Revelation where it talks about animals, all the animals on the earth. Right now we have authority over the animals, and they're afraid of humans. Okay, all animals, they're afraid of humans. They run. Most animals, unless they're sick, they get the heck out of Dodge. They don't hang around. Even bears, normally unless they learn not to be afraid of animals, like if you feed them all the time, one day you might get eaten. Like that one guy up in Alaska that hung out with the bears. They ate him and his girlfriend. So, but only there's going to come a time where all animals are going to turn on man. They're going to lose their fear. And when that happens, that means your dogs, your cats, all animals, birds, you go outside, there's a time coming when that's going to happen. Man, if a Bigfoot is part of that, oh my gosh, man, talk about a wrecking ball. That thing, the ones I seen could rip the door right off of a car. And so what keeps them from doing that right now? What is it that's keeping them from doing that? A lot of times they run you out, but if they wanted to kill you, they could, but they run you out. They scare you. They put the fear on you, and you run away. It's just an interesting thing to think about. That's what the mind speak. Like, you just push your thoughts out, or they read your mind. See, it could be dangerous to mind speak with them. It really could, unless you have Jesus in you, living in you, and you have authority over all the earth and everything in it in Jesus' name. We didn't have that until Jesus gave his life on the cross for all, to buy back what we lost. See, if you read Genesis, we had that was, we named all the animals. The humans are going to be over all the earth, and they're going to have dominion, like you ran the earth, okay? And then they gave that up. And also long life. You're supposed to live forever when you were born. Those guys lived 1,000 years, but that was after they gave up their rights. So in the first, before the 1,000 years was up, they lost everything. And Jesus had to come back and buy it back with his life. And he had to be a man to be able to do that. So that's where that's at. So now he did. And when he did, we have that back, only using the authority that he allows us to have. But if you don't know Jesus, don't go running around saying Jesus' name, this and that, because those things will jump on you and tear you up, because they don't recognize your authority, because you don't have Jesus in you. So you want to be prayed up before you start doing anything using his name. And Jesus' name, it's a powerful thing. It's real powerful. I mean, I've told you guys about how I use it here and some of the things that happened, like with one of my son's girlfriends. I mean, you could ask my son, my wife, everybody that was here, and I wasn't even near them. I didn't point my finger at her and say, in Jesus' name, you can't be in my house. I just started naming spirits that was going on: anger, rage, jealousy. I mean, that's what was happening, arguments. And it was along the lines of anger, rage, and jealousy. Those are spirits. And I said that all those spirits and any other spirit I can't think of that belongs to the devil can't be in my house or on my property line to property line. In Jesus' name, that's it. That's all I said. In 3 seconds, that girl jumped up and ran to the curb and was out there pacing the curb back and forth, screaming and cussing and telling everybody to come out and fight her out there. But she couldn't come back on the property. And it was interesting. It was really interesting that. And then I did it again, and I've done it since. And I've done it in other people's houses. When they give me permission, they give me authority over their house. They have to give me authority to use Jesus' name in their house, and then I can do it in their house. But at the same time, they better start believing in Jesus. Otherwise, it'll come back with 7 more, and they really will have trouble. And I explain that to these people that I go into their house. A lot of them are already believers, and they just don't have faith that the name, that they can use his name and do that. And I think of it like, you guys can stop me anytime and change the subject, okay? I think of it like a cop. Okay, so a cop has no superpowers at all, but every one of us recognize the authority that we give them. They serve us, right? We pay them to protect us. They get hired by people that we vote in, and then they give them a badge and say, okay, you're a cop. And we give them that authority, and we recognize that authority. Like, that cop could jump out in the middle of the freeway, hold his hand up, as long as he's in his uniform, put his hand up and say, stop, and everybody will stop. If they don't stop, they know there's consequences. Okay. When you have Jesus in you, it's like having that badge in the spirit realm. And those demons recognize that, and they know that Jesus is with you, and you have faith, and you could jump out and you could say, stop. And even though you don't have any power whatsoever, just like the cop, you have none, zip. You're not special, okay? The only thing you got on your side is that Jesus gave you authority, just like the cop. So you don't have any superpowers or anything like that. It's not you, it's him. As long as you can keep that straight in your brain, you'll be doing great. You'll be doing great if you can keep that straight. Yes, sir. Happy New Year, MK. Man, I wanted to go hiking with you. I'm going to make it out there one day. Oh, man. I've had people flat out come and attack me straight up. And I was with Jeff and some other guys one time, and we went to this house, and the guy's girlfriend was demon possessed or demonic, really bad. I hadn't met her. In fact, I wasn't even supposed to go. Jeff got called, and they wanted Jeff to go and bring holy water and prayed candles and do this Catholic thing, right? And he also brought some psychics with them, a psychic. And we went in there, and while they were doing their, splashing holy water all over the place and really nothing happening, I mean, this one, while they're doing that, I'm sitting outside talking to the owner of the property and the guy that has the authority. If he had Jesus in him, he could do it himself. And I was teaching him about that. And he finally gave me permission. And I told him, like, dude, if I do this, one of two things is going to happen. Okay. One, if the girl's going to take, if she's possessed, she's going to leave and she can't come back. But you can let her back. She can trick you into coming back. That's the other thing that could happen. So as long as he agrees with me and stays in agreement that she can't come back, she can't come back. But if she tricks him somehow, somewhere, like they meets him somewhere, and then he brings her back. As soon as she puts one foot on the property, that's it. It's over. And I don't play games with him. And he called me 3 days later, and but when we got there, this girl, sight unseen, never saw her, never met her, never met the guy. And we just got there, and this lady comes running out of the house, ran by every single person. I was behind everybody, going with my cane. And here she comes, and she just started ripping me like, what are you doing here? You need to get off the property. What's your credentials? And I thought she meant my ID. I didn't know what she was talking about. I even showed her my ID. I had no idea what it was. But she was seeing Jesus in me. It wasn't me. It was what I have in me that scared her. And when they went to doing she took off. She's like, I'm leaving, until he leaves, I won't come back. That's what she told the guy. And she left. And she was gone about an hour. And when she came back, I was already, Jeff and those guys, they're doing their thing, walking around with holy water and all this stuff. And I'm just sitting there talking to him and explaining to him. And then she came back. And she just gave me the mean mug, and went in the house and started yelling out the window, telling her boyfriend he better get rid of me, and all this stuff. And so then I told him, when you're ready, we'll say the prayer. So we said the prayer. Like 5 seconds. We're talking seconds, not minutes. She came flying out of the house, the door slammed open. She jumped in her truck and burned rubber out of there. And I told him, now you have to stay in agreement with me. Otherwise, she's going to come back and it's going to be worse. And he called me a couple days later, and he felt sorry for her, and he allowed her back in, and he was wanting me to do it again. I told him, no, you do it. You find Jesus, you do it. Because I don't play games with, these are not things to play with. They don't die. They live forever, just like we were supposed to, or really we do. When we die, we go on the other side and we live forever. So like, don't mess with stuff like that, like really don't. If at all possible, don't. And I'm not sure about Bigfoot really still, but I can go in the woods, and I mean, and if he wants to mess with me, then we'll start using Jesus' name on him and see what happens. I haven't had a chance to do that, but aliens, yes, I have. And I've taught other people that were being abducted or had aliens coming in their house, and I've taught them how to get rid of them, and they got rid of them. They've got rid of ghosts out of their house, hauntings, all that stuff. They did it on their own. And then I talked to them. I ran into them later, or they call me, a couple of months later, and they're like, "Oh my God, thank you, thank you." Tell them, don't thank me, because I have no power, right? Just a little bit of knowledge that I shared with you. The real power is in Jesus. The real power is in Jesus. Yeah. But yeah, so got me off track, huh? Hey, Happy New Year. Nikolavi Levy. I hope I'm saying that right. I always wonder. There's a few of them on here. I don't know if I say it right or not, but Happy New Year. Yeah, so see, hey Gladys, Happy New Year. I'm wondering about the tag thing. Yeah, I have. I've gone in graveyards and cemeteries and stuff like that. Because a lot of my friends do the paranormal stuff, and sometimes they get mad and like they don't want me to go along, because sometimes a lot of stuff is happening with them, and then when I come along, nothing happens. We might be like we were up in ghost towns, and hey Rob, Happy New Year. But yeah, we were in these ghost towns and going in the graveyards and stuff, and we were up there about a week. Nothing happened. Absolutely nothing. And so they put two and two together. They figured it out. The people that we were hanging with, it was like they had to get rid of me to be able to get action again. And but it didn't mean that I didn't get messed with that night back in the hotel. Like, I had things talking in my ear and waking me up, like a male voice right in my ear waking me up. And my buddy that I was with, he's in the other room, and he was hearing kids running up and down the hall that was waking him up. And what was really weird is the first night he went in we were there one night on this one at a sanitarium, and he was being woke up by these kids running up and down the hall and making noise. So he, it was like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. He got up and went in the kitchen and started making coffee, because there was no way he was going back to sleep. And I wasn't far behind him. I didn't know he was in there, but only this thing wouldn't let me go to sleep either. It was like talking in my ear, real deep voice. And I mean, I wasn't afraid of it or anything. And I went in there, and there he was, we started talking about it. And he's a believer. So, he's not afraid of him either, but it's still annoying. They want you out, so they can't hurt you, but they can make you uncomfortable, and they can tick off people too. They can use other people that don't have Jesus, And those people will get in your face and say bad things and do all kinds of stuff. And you have no authority inside that sanitarium. That's their domain. Whoever owns the sanitarium is the one with the authority. We don't have any, all we can do is leave. And that's what they wanted. And we did. Hey, Callie, what's up, man? How's it going, Christian? Can't wait to go Bigfooting. It's going to be good. Yeah, I saw that. But supposedly Glenn Beck's a believer, so I don't know if he wants to keep it around and get more video of it or try to figure out who it is, or where it came from or anything like that. I try not to follow that kind of stuff, especially because those kind of things you can, by just having it playing on your TV, it's like letting them in. So you got to be careful. Yeah, it is going to be really good this year. It's going to be interesting because of all the fires. The spot burned. I think the only place that didn't burn was where the mean Bigfoot was. Maybe we'll go over there. I want to go to the spot though. I want to see how bad it burned and what's going on over there. Sister 19001, let's see, Sister 19101 online. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Well, the people, it's like they're irritated and they don't even know why, but they don't like you. And they'll tell you too, like, I do not like you. You need to get out of here, and they just won't leave you alone. And there's nothing you could do about it. They can't hurt you or any. Maybe that person could physically, punch you out or something, or shoot you. I don't know. But normally that I never, the only time I ever faced any kind of guns or anything was in law enforcement, and that's why I'm not in law enforcement. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'd have to go over to Facebook and get them out of there. I'm not in Facebook. I'm in something else. World Bigfoot Radio. Happy New Year. Yeah, I was listening to your dad there for a little while, and they were talking about that movie. Pretty good movie. Only I'm starting to get tired of that stuff. Like, I want it to end. I'm ready for America to stand up and put their foot down and start taking back things. Like, these guys have been in power way too long. I've been saying it for years. So is your dad, though. And we talked about this stuff for years about how in the movies, they've been telling us what they're going to do. And we've just been watching them slowly, like, how do you eat an elephant? Say the American population's an elephant. You can't just eat an elephant in one bite. It's too big, right? But you can eat an elephant one bite at a time. And that's how they've been doing. And sometimes, if they keep your attention on one thing and the others, and on the other side, they're cutting your tail off. That's how they've been doing with our rights. Like, they use 9/11, and we for security, we gave up some rights, and we just little bit by little bit, we've been letting them steal from us and put us in these positions. And now look, I mean, we went from where Trump, and I'm Trump I'm not a big fan, okay, of personal, like, I wouldn't hang out with him, okay? But I know a lot of people in industries that I don't, personally, we can't be friends, there's just no way. But I would hire them in a heartbeat to do a job because they are the one for the job, right? They have the experience and they know what to do where I don't. He's perfect. He was perfect. So what that he has an ego and all that? Who cares? He put our country right down how it was supposed to go. And then these idiots came along and cheated like they've always been cheating. And now we're seeing they had to step up the plan a little bit to get back on track, and that made it obvious to us what they're really doing. It wasn't like this little slow track, right? Now they're hurrying up their thing to get it back on track, and we're seeing it. At least I hope we're seeing it. I see it. I hope everybody sees it. When you go to the gas pump, you should see it. You can go buy a pizza. I mean, pizzas are freaking expensive now, I mean, like everything across the board. Go buy a steak, cost you an arm and a leg. I mean, it's all made by them. They did this. I mean, they created it. It's all smoke and mirrors, but it really is real. It's hurting everyone. Like, we should be putting our foot down. We should be like marching the city halls all over the freaking United States. We should not be letting this slide one bit. I mean, nobody has power, okay, unless we give it to them. Even a movie star. If we didn't go see those movie stars' movies, they wouldn't be movie stars. Sports star. If we didn't go watch every game and buy all their merch, they wouldn't be a sports star. Walmart wouldn't even be Walmart if we didn't go and shop in there. In fact, the gas prices right now, if we decided we didn't want to pay that gas price and we just stopped buying gas and we started walking, taking bicycles and stuff, I mean, it would be days, 3-4 days. Those prices would start going down like crazy. I mean, we have all the power. We have the power. When are we going to pick it up? And when are we going to take it back? I mean, I shake my head at what's going on, man. It blows me away that we are so programmed to be nice, supposedly, even though everybody's attacking everybody if you say the wrong word, or you don't believe all lives matter and stuff like that. I mean, people attack you straight up. Like, you start talking about that you didn't get oh my God, I've had family get after me for that one. And you know what? It's like I don't get after them for what their choices are, even though a lot of them suffered badly from it and some people died. I don't know anybody that died from COVID, not personal, but I've heard, like from a friend of a friend, I heard of people that say they had somebody die from COVID. But I have had people die from, relatives. And like, I'm over it, like, let's march. Let's do it. That's why I'm starting that new channel, the prayer team channel. Because I think, okay, so if we're not going to march, let's start using our authority in Jesus' name and start praying and see what happens. Right? Let's stop this evil that's behind all this. Let's cut it off at the root. Let's start praying that way, that we cut it off at the root. Let's all agree as one in prayer, stopping the evil, and see what happens. Bet you a lot happens. And I have a feeling that's why this last couple of months has been just terrible for me. I mean, flat tires and my car breaking, and family members getting sick and you can't do it, and I haven't been able to do anything. I mean, it's almost like I have to keep pushing though and get that going, because that's going to hurt them a lot. Yeah, the ones that died were, and that's what's so sad. And I have in the same city, okay, that the two relatives passed, father-in-law and an uncle. Okay, the uncle's son owns a funeral home, and he's a patriot type. I don't know if that'll get my channel shut down. I don't know, but I'm just gonna say it. We were talking about this thing that they're putting on everybody, you know, that they shut down the world for, and he was saying that for the first year, business as usual, no real uptick in, you know, in his funeral home business. In fact, when Trump introduced, it didn't do anything. No uptick in business. No uptick in business. Soon as Biden got in office, and all of a sudden, a big uptick in business. Okay, like he's swamped. That says a lot right there. Tell you, it says a lot. And if you check around, you might find out that that's the way it is, you know. So sad. I think it is same old flu. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Christian. You know, like you wear one of those hats and everybody will come and smack you in the head, swinging a lock, a bicycle lock in a sock, you know, knock your brains out from behind just because you wore that. Oh man. Hey, Woolly Booger. Happy New Year, and Happy New Year, Mr. Mark. I don't know if I said Happy New Year, Callie. Tell your mom and dad Happy New Year too. Can't wait to go over, and I haven't been able to get over there to work with your cameras and show you how to do it. Easy peasy, dude. Easy peasy. I think you got this for reals. You don't even need me, really. It's just take it and start playing with one, and go out, you know, tell your dad to go to the river or something like that and do some nature shots and stuff like that. You'll have it. You'll have it in no time. You know, read or go on YouTube. They'll tell you how to use the whole thing, you know, the menus, all of it. Yeah, it's really sad, Gladys, that it some people are just brainwashed. They've been it's the schools. It's the schools. That's what's most of the people that are okay with all this stuff. They're the ones with degrees and college educations, and the ones that are in the public schools and stuff like that. They say they believe the science, right? But it's not science. It's political. If you really like any science that is real, you can't even find it. It's been censored. So, like, even if you have an argument with somebody, you can't show them the truth because it's censored. And then if you go to a site that, like, to a website that's not censored, and you show it to them, they call it fringe because it's not mainstream media, you know. So it's really bad. I believe it saved a lot of us, because Jeff and I, we've been doing that conspiracy theory thing for a dozen years easy. And I mean, we were before we even before they started, you know, when we were doing it, they weren't censoring, so we were laying it out. I mean, we were telling people buy some food. Like, I still think everybody should buy some food and stock up on food. Um, just get as ready as you can get. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it hasn't got as bad. I thought it was going to be bad already, but it's not totally bad yet, but it's close, really close. How bad is it going to get? I don't know, but it's so bad now. I say we could teeter over into them deciding to turn off the power and the internet and shut off the trucking. I mean, they own everything. So, I mean, it would take 5 minutes, a phone call, and that's it. They could shut us down and shut everybody down, and they don't care. They don't care. Just like they're burning up Colorado right now. They don't care. They're sending tornadoes. Tornadoes don't happen in the winter, not normally. But only now that they blame it on climate change and all this stuff. They're the ones doing the climate change. They're the ones. We're actually going in a solar minimum, and all the stuff that our pollution, that comes out of our cars and stuff like that. It's plant food. It's not bad for us. They say it all the time. Greenhouse gas. It's plant food. Like, people need to get real. Get real. It's out there. It's plant food. It's not. And they want to do carbon tax and all that. Remember Star Trek? We were carbon based. I mean, we're carbon based. I mean, come on, it can't be bad, right? We're carbon. Oh my God. It's like, it's plant food. It's not bad. Now, electric vehicles, those are bad. The batteries are serious bad. They're worse. I mean, they can't, they're not plant food. They turn it into a different chemical, and then we're talking about serious yucky stuff here. And then I'm going to drive to Florida. Well, when your battery runs out, it takes 45 minutes or an hour to charge your battery, and where are you going to find a battery station at? And when you get there, who's to say that you don't got to get in a line of a whole bunch of other people waiting to charge up? So now you got to get a motel, and it take you a week or more to drive to Florida. Right now, you don't. You could just pull over at a gas station, fill up, and you're, 10 minutes and you're gone. Go to the bathroom, whatever, eat something, and you're out of there. I mean, we have not got to where electricity is a thing yet. They're pushing it way, way, way too early. I was watching this thing about diesels. They have this crap. You gotta, it's almost like blinker fluid, right? That's what I was thinking. It's like blinker fluid. So you fill up your truck, and then you got to put this fluid in that cleans your pipes or your exhaust or something like that. It's like some kind of fluid. It's something fluid, and it's like blinker fluid. You don't really need it. Diesels, I grew up around diesels. My dad owned 22 charter buses and drove trucks, and grew up around them. Before he became a lawman, that's what he did, was drive. And the soot from a diesel, it doesn't fly and get into the air. It settles down and lands on the ground. It doesn't fly around. You don't breathe it. Maybe a little bit if you're on the freeway, but what that crap, the blinker fluid, diesel blinker fluid stuff, if you're riding on the freeway and you're following somebody in a F450 or a Duramax or something like that, that crap you shouldn't be breathing. Now that's bad for you. It has nothing but, it's all poison. And then, like, it comes in a plastic bottle that comes from oil. It has to be manufactured. All this crap it's crap, dude. All of it is crap. It's crap. All the emission thing is crap. It's bull. Yeah, DEF. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. See, it's a bunch of baloney. And then the batteries, like all the stuff that's made from batteries, 95% of it comes from China. And you know what they have mining that? It's not high paid people, and it's not sanitary, and it's not good for the world. They got kids doing it, digging in the mines. They probably aren't even going to live till they're, 25 maybe. I mean, it's totally dangerous for them, but they don't care. They got 6 billion people. They can just get rid of them. They can use them as many as they want. Hey, Brian. Hey, how's it going? I dig Daytona. I love that last video. Sorry about not finding much, though. But I have a feeling once the big waves go and the way it churned the beach up and everything, I have a feeling that you might find, because all those coins are all old that you're finding. Not real old, but they've been there a while. I have a feeling it's going to turn around. You're going to find some good stuff, man. It's still fun watching it and everything, and I loved it when you pick that fish up and you're like, it's dead, Jim. Man, I fell out of the chair laughing. Oh my God. I laughed for probably like more than I should on that. That was funny. Really funny. Yeah, horses and buggies. No, actually, we should just stick with gas. Gas and diesel. There's nothing wrong with it. It makes plant food. That's what it does. I mean, and like they're trying to scare us and say it's not, but honestly, carbon emissions. It's plant food. Yeah, man. People are freaking out, and like if you really want to freak out, look at if okay, there's some studies, and this is something I've been researching for a long time, maybe 20 years. Ever since the internet came on, it was something I want to know about. But in where Noah's Ark landed, okay, over in that area, I can't remember the geographic area, but over there, they have underground tunnels and caverns. And now, if you go on Google Earth, well, not exactly, well, Mount Ararat too, but the country, Turkey, yeah, Turkey and Armenia and all over there, and all the let's see, yeah, Cappadocia. Uh, um, I was making a joke about it the other day. I was pointing some stuff out to my wife about it, where they grow the poppies, and oh man, stands, right? All the stands, you know, Afghanistan and all the stand countries. If you go on Google Earth and you look at the mountains a certain way, you can actually look at the ones in actually it's all over the place, but it's really prominent and easy to see over there in all the stands, right? Kazakhstan and all those stands. If you look at the mountains, something happened where the magnetosphere or went away, and there was sonic winds, supersonic winds, and it came through lightning bolts. In fact, it has a lot to do with how I even stumbled on it. And I was talking with Adolf about it. I sent him a video, and then I realized me and him had already talked about it and looked at the video. But a lot of the petroglyphs and stuff like that, what they're showing is these these lightning, and they're showing what happened on the earth. And the only people that lived through that were the ones that went inside those underground things. And when you look at the ground, you could actually see like miles long and wide where the electricity, like lightning bolts, went across the ground. And it looks just like a giant lightning bolt on the ground. Go over there and look over there. You'll trip out. There's the mountains they look like where the sonic wind was, supersonic wind. It looked like dunes, sand dunes. Maybe I should put, what I'll do is I'll put a link in the inside the comments after this video, and I'll find that video and I'll put a link to it, and you guys watch that video, okay? Or I'll make a comment that in the community thing, look for it. And then I got behind on loading the old shows, but I got some more lined up, and I haven't had time to upload anything, so I'm sorry about that. But wow, for sure watch this, because they're saying it's on a 12,000 year cycle, and we're coming into that 12,000 into that cycle again. Because when like climate change, when they talk about climate change, if it's climate change, then it's climate change on Mars, it's climate change on all the other planets too. They're all being they're all having this, right? Not just the Earth. It's affecting planets. And we're going to see some changes, all right. And it's from the sun. It's not from you driving around in your, 75 454 hot rod, fully blown, drinking, 3 miles to the gallon car. It isn't none of that. It isn't. That's plant food. What I'm talking about is real deal stuff, right? And so it's interesting. I'm not saying it's going to happen or anything, but it did happen. And all the Indians all around, even in our area, all the petroglyphs and hieroglyphs and all that, they were painting things and carving things in the rock to warn us, 10,000 years ago, 11, 12,000 years ago. And here we go again, right? We're starting to see it again. So boy, it ought to be pretty interesting, but I'll find that video and put it in there. Yeah, the 12,000 year cycle. It does, Adolf. It looks just like giant lightning bolts. And I was comparing, they were showing the hieroglyphics and the petroglyphs in the stands, right? Afghanistan and all those stands over there. And then I have video of the petroglyphs that we were looking at here up on the hill that one day. It's the same ones. It's the same ones, and it's showing the same thing, like it happened here too. So then I got on Google Earth and I was looking at the Sierras just, east of us, and I found the same thing. And it was blowing me away. I'm like, oh my God, I could see, it looks like lightning bolts tore up our Sierras. I think I'm gonna have to change the title of this video, because we didn't hardly talk about Bigfoot, mind speaker, nothing hardly, huh? I don't know what to title this one, man. Happy New Year. That's gonna be we're all over the map. That's what I should put. Yeah. But it does. It looks like electricity, and then you can see where the sonic winds came and made big, like some of the mountain ranges are sand dunes from, supersonic winds that just tore the earth up. It's really interesting. Yeah, I think so too, Mr. Mark. I do. In fact, uh, that's why God started dealing with me on making that prayer team channel, because people are gonna they're gonna be looking for a place to pray, and they're gonna be looking. I mean, people are gonna start looking. I also believe that it's gonna be really hard to deny that there's not God. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be in your face and everyone's face. It's going to be in everyone's worldwide face. And it's going to be like smacking everybody right upside the head. Yeah. Yeah. When me and Adolf, we look at Google Earth all the time, and I really never noticed that before until after watching that video. I'm like, oh my God, now a lot of the stuff that I see on Google Earth around us makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. Oh yeah, the Bible says that men's hearts are gonna fail at what they see. That's what it says. Lots of heart attacks. Yeah, it really is. It's all about God. It really is. Happy New Year, Ellen. I don't know if I wished you a Happy New Year. Yeah, that's it. The Schumann resonance frequency has been shifting. And they talk a lot about that in that video. And, all the stuff that we talk about might be moot. If that really happens, I mean, we should be looking, we should be looking for big caves and stuff to go hide in, like, I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's pretty scary when you figure out what you're looking at and you realize that they were warning us. The Indians and the Aboriginal people of all around the world were warning us with their drawings, and we thought they were totally something else, and they're not. They're showing you what people are starting to see in the sky with the storms. And these storms are going to be on steroids, right? You won't be able to, that nobody that's on the earth will survive. You have to be underground. You have to. If you don't find a way underground, everybody on the top of the ground is going to be toast, like obliterated, like pretty bad. I've been working on it. I have it set up here in whatever this is, Melon app, and then I have it set up in YouTube. And see, I thought that I was just going to do YouTube, and then God started dealing with me on it and said, no, you're going on every platform. I was like, I don't know how to do every platform. But I have to do it on every platform. I mean, he won't let me not do it. He won't let me not do it on every platform. So it's going to be on every platform. And then I named it prayer team. And then he told me to put WW in front of it because it's worldwide. People are going to be wanting this worldwide. And then he started dealing with me. Hey, Patrick, Happy New Year. He started dealing with me on, it's not something like this channel where I can just get on and chat with everybody and share videos and stuff. It's going to take a team to do it. And so like he showed me, it's almost like this how to hunt guy, the emails. People are going to email in with their emails, and we're going to start praying for those people. And then while you're online though, like in the live chat, people could ask for prayer in there, and then everybody that is in the chat is part of the team and they pray. And then there's also going to be a team that will be running the stream, and there'll be a testimony thing where, because there's going to be, like somebody was saying earlier, they'd like to see miracles. Well, we're going to see them. When you get a few hundred people to thousands of people praying and agreeing in one thing, you're going to see the move of God like you never saw. And you'll see these things happening. So there's going to be a testimony part of it, and then there's going to be a prayer part of it, and I don't know what all yet, how it's going to progress, because really it's in God's hands. I'm just getting it going, and then I'm letting him bring the people and do all that stuff. That's all I could do. Santa Barbara, and wow, she did. Wow. So, hey, Happy New Year, Karen. Yeah, man, maybe you'll be part of it. Like people that aren't afraid to be on camera. That I'm hoping, like I was hoping, Ghost Wolf would come in, because that was one of the first people that God directed me to get a hold of. Well, I haven't been able to get a hold. It isn't that I haven't got a hold of him or can't. It's just because the circumstances this year so far, since I started that, everything in the world has been coming against me. I mean, I never had a battle like how I'm having right now. And I mean, it's striking my relatives. I mean, it's keeping me from doing anything. I'm talking about car problems and flat tires, and we have a baby in our house that I have. My sister lives here and takes care of my mom. Well, her son, they had a baby, but they're not able to take care of the baby. So we have a baby. I don't know how old it is, 3 months or something like that. So we have this little baby now in the house, and it's fun. And I mean, she's really little smart thing. And I love little kids, and I love taking care of people. But it seems like every avenue that you could think of where something could go wrong, or pile something onto you, or responsibility or something like that, it's just been piling up and hitting, left and right, left and right, left and right, and trying to stop me from accomplishing my goal, which it's not going to stop me. It just is slowing me down a little bit. And I wanted to do more anyways in December, but even God was holding me back and telling me, no, this is for like this year. This is for this year. It's going to be this year. The biggest move of God since Jesus is how I'm getting it. Like Noah's Ark. I mean, I'm talking about Moses, parting the Red Sea type thing. We're going to see some serious big things. And it's only, I believe that's why everything's coming against me. And then he showed me some other stuff lately. A lot of YouTube channels, there's all these people coming out. God told me this. God told me that. God, like, and none of them are saying the same thing. They all have their own little message, God. And I was thinking, I mean, God kind of gives, talks to me, gives me thoughts, kind of like mind speak, kinda, but it's not. He speaks to me through the word in the Bible, scriptures will pop out in my mind, and it'll be about things I'm praying about. But anyways, I'm getting off down a rabbit hole, but there's a lot of people coming on all of a sudden. God told me this, God told me that, and I, listen to me and do this, and I'm starting a ministry and blah 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 blah, and he told me that a lot of them are just to distract the people away from what really he is doing. And so, but I don't know like who they are or anything, because I don't watch that stuff. He just told me there's a lot of them now, and to be careful who, if I do start hearing things, uh be careful, and try to pray for that discernment to figure out who's really, in touch with God and who's not in touch with God. And I'm not totally in touch with him all the time. I pray to him all the time, but I don't hear him talking to me all the time. He just gave me, you get an idea, and then it won't leave you alone. You can just keep, even when you're not, you'll be driving along, and all of a sudden that thought that he gave you will come back to your head, and then you'll read the Bible, and then some more the message will be in the message, in the word, and all this stuff starts coming together like a puzzle, and I just keep thanking him and moving along, and he just keeps opening doors. So, but boy, he really warned me about the all the people. He told me it's like I got the word tsunami of people online doing this, like all of it out of the blue, lots of people, and how I kind of felt or got from it was they are not really about him. They're all about the monetization of their channel. And I'm totally not that, right? So I'm not about the monetization. If God wants me to have money, he'll put it on people's hearts. And just like he puts it on my heart to send people, to help people and stuff like that, he'll do the same thing. I believe all pastors should be like that. Instead of selling information, like if God gave you something to write a book, you shouldn't be selling that book. You should be giving it away. Freely given to you, freely give it. God will take care of you without having to beg and all that kind of stuff. Like everybody that's hearing me, I mean, God will put it on your heart, and who knows. I know that there's some people that support me, and I love them to death, but I didn't beg from them, and that God puts it on the people's hearts to do that, and I'm not going to turn it down, because I do the same thing, and I would feel terrible if they turned down my help, because I'm going to get blessings in for helping these people and not going out bragging about it, right? So I mean, that's where I'm at on it. I'm not about like YouTube is going to support me. No, God supports me. God supports me, and that's how it is. So you did. Oh, cool. I'm going to go check that out, Woolly Booger. Happy New Year, Woolly Booger. Wow, cool. Yeah, me too. Was it really close to her house? That's what would freak me out, is, seeing stuff like my mother-in-law saw one like a quarter mile from her house in Oklahoma, and she has to cross this bridge every day, and as she's crossing the bridge, at the end of the bridge, she has to make a right turn towards her place. The road turns, And as she was approaching that curve at the end of the bridge, the Bigfoot was in the leaves, laying in the leaves, just a big pile of leaves. And he stood up right there. And she said his legs were like tree stumps, like big old, it was huge. So it freaked her out. I'll check that video out. Bigfoot Anon. Hey, El Shepherd, Happy New Year. Man, I don't know if I would hope for a sighting or not. Like one of my things is like what I wanted to talk about, or how I thought the direction of this video was going to go anyways, was you see one and then all of a sudden you're tagged and you see one again. It might not be like all the time, but you now are in a club that that you didn't ask to be in, and you're going to see them, and they're going to let you see them again. And I don't know what causes that or anything. And I know some people that, even including myself, that have had the mind speak thing, and usually it's the one you can't do any of it until you see one. Then once you see one, then that opens up the door to all the rest of it, right? More sightings, not just sightings, but encounters too, where it was them that pushed that tree over right by your camp, and then the other tree, and then the other tree, and all that kind of stuff. All right, Adolf, drive careful, man. We will talk soon. Wow, that's a trip. Cool, Bigfoot and on. Happy New Year. Right on. I never get invited to that stuff about talking at events. I don't belong to that club. Even though I've been at it for 30 years and seen him like 5 times, I trip out sometimes on some of these Bigfoot people. And hey, Ernest, Happy New Year. I trip out because like somebody will see a Bigfoot and it'll run across the road or something, right? And that's the only thing they got, is that 7 seconds or 3 seconds or whatever it is. And that's it. And they're speaking everywhere and doing all this stuff. I mean, I don't have nothing against it or anything, but it just makes me wonder, like, how do they do that? Like I watched the very first one I watched it for over an hour. That was my very first sighting, and I've had the little 6-second ones and stuff now since. And most of the time it's because I'm running, because I'm afraid of them. They're so big and fast and powerful and all that. And most of it, like, I usually run into my sack lunch tent. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, right, Callie. I know you've seen a couple of them already too, huh? And it's kind of weird that I was talking to my one of my friends over here, and a neighbor, and we were talking about, he wants to go up, and he wants to see Bigfoot. And I told him, I've went with people and they didn't see anything, and nothing happens when we bring those people. But then it'll just be us, you and your dad and Danny and me and David, and they'll come around the camp and do all kinds of stuff. And I mean, we'll have quite the weekend, almost every single time. But then there's been a few that did come with us, and they got freaked out so bad they don't even go anymore because, at first it was novel to them and they thought it was kind of fun and kind of like a joke. But then when it became real, all of a sudden they don't want to go. They're like, hey, you're on your own, man. That's a scary one. Big Bear Lake. I never been down there, but I think they're everywhere. I really do. And if you know what you're doing and what you're looking for, I think you can find them just about everywhere. They're down in the valley down here, running along the rivers and stuff. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, our whole area, every place we go has been burned out. Yeah. I mean, there's only one place that I know of that didn't get burned, and at two different fires. Yeah, Avocado Lake. There you go. That's like down in the valley, oranges and farms all around it, and they're still having sightings. In fact, there's a lot of supernatural stuff going on not far from there. Yeah, I heard that, Woolly Booger. Like for me, like I used to hang in the woods by myself 2 weeks, go deer hunting, and sometimes I didn't even hunt. I was just out there uh enjoying the mountains and just, living life and enjoying myself. That don't happen anymore. Now when I go to the hills, I'm on alert the whole time. My head's on a swivel, my ears are like radar. I am not comfortable. I don't care where. And sometimes you can feel them there, they're there, you feel like you're being watched. And then things start happening like trees getting pushed over and rocks start getting thrown at you and branches and twigs, and it becomes where what used to be where I could decompress and uh, escape reality and stuff like that, not anymore. It's not fun. Not like it used to be. Can't go kick back and lean up against a tree and go to sleep for a couple hours. No way, never happened. Even in a tent in the day, won't happen. I can't even hardly sleep at night in a tent. Cool, let's go. I'm ready. Let's go do that 40 acres. I have some friends over by the casino that I worked at. They now they're talking about me. They were going to let us go up there, but I have a whole bunch of friends up there and they're finding tracks and stuff like that. And so, man, I was watching there's a I'm on a Bigfoot. I'm on so many of them I can't even remember all of them. But he had a video. I asked him if he would come on and he said yeah. And he was videotaping these Bigfoot, and their eyes were glowing, right? Glowing white, and there's like three or four of them, and they were moving around in the video, and no flashlights on them or anything. They were self-glowing eyes, and it was the most amazing video I ever saw. I never saw that before. That was way interesting. And it could be somebody that's in here right now too, and I'm not sure. You know what? I haven't deer hunted or bear hunted or any hunted like that kind of hunting since 1987. It changed my whole life. Oh man, not the goats. See, that's the thing that bothers me about the Bigfoots is when they kill dogs and they kill little animals and stuff like that, and they really don't eat them. They just rip them to shreds and leave them there, all smashed and ripped. That it's like why they do that, just to get to you, you know? They know it was something you care about. I mean that's messed up. You know, it really is. On the Kings. Yeah, yours on the Kings. Happy New Year, Ernest. On the Kongs. Happy New Year's, Fonzie. Yeah, you know, I don't even have a rifle to I don't even have a rifle anymore. When I got hurt, I had to sell everything to live. So I'm barely starting to get some I got a couple of pistols now, or pow pows. You can't say it on YouTube, but I've been thinking about getting a deer rifle. I don't want no cheapo Savage. You know, I want to get a nice one. I had a couple of 30-06s. I had a pre 64 Winchester 30-06, but the one that because of the Bigfoot, the one I really would like to have back is the Weatherby 300 Magnum, and I don't even have the dies and all that anymore. I used to have the press and the dies, and you know, load my own, and I haven't been able to do that in a long time. And I used to like that. I used because I like shooting. You know, I would load up 500 or 600 rounds just to plink with. I had a plinking round that it was dead on with a hot barrel, and then I had my hunting loads that were dead on a cold barrel, right? And I miss all that. See, there you go. They're still running around over there, Ernest. They still are. Well, you guys, I gotta get out of here, man. My wife keeps opening the door and looking to see if I'm done, but I know it's getting late, especially back east and Midwest and all that. And but I want you to know, man, Happy New Year, you guys. Happy New Year. It's fun hanging out with you. I'm looking forward to doing more all year. Everybody that supports me, thank you so much. You're totally appreciated, and in my prayers, all of you guys really are in my prayers. But I pray extra special for the ones that let God use them. So, and then I'm looking forward to looking at your video, Woolly Booger. I can't wait. That's probably the first thing after I put all this stuff away, the camera and the tripods and everything. Um, I'll check that out, and then I'm gonna put a link to that video too. Be looking for it. All right, guys, you have the most wonderful, I guess, morning now for most of you. You know, and I hope your holidays went really well. And I will see you pretty soon. You know, I'm not going to be a stranger. I'm not going to be a stranger. So, and I can't remember how to turn this off, but I'm not going to be a stranger. So, I shall see you real soon. Hopefully, like before Friday. All right. Happy New Year.